Tonight, manhunt for Russian national accused of sharing explicit images and videos of Ghanaian women without consent. As Communications Minister Sam George serves notice, the government will prosecute him in absentia, pushing for an international arrest warrant through INTERPOL.
And just for the avoidance of doubt, we want to state for emphasis, the two ministries know who the individual is. In our meeting with the ambassador, his identity was established. We have his passport.
Details plus analysis here on Top Story, brought to you always by Telecell, connecting energies, Holy Insecticide Spray and Coil. Enjoy Holy Sleep, and also by Short Pension Trust, into the future with you. My name is Samuel Kojo Brace. And tonight, Ghanaian police are working with Interpol to secure an international arrest warrant for the Russian national accused of sharing explicit images and videos of Ghanaian women without consent. The accused Russian national allegedly obtained intimate images and videos of Ghanaian women through fraudulent means and shared them online without their consent. Several women have come forward filing formal complaints, prompting the government's swift response. Communications Minister Sam George says they will prosecute him in absentia following complaints from affected women describing their actions as criminal and vowing to pursue accountability.
That are being processed by the CID, and CID is working with us to escalate this to Interpol, to issue an international arrest warrant for the gentleman. And so we're leaving no stone unturned. We are also preparing through the Cybersecurity Authority to present a docket through the Police Service and Attorney General for prosecution in absentia in our courts. And so this is not a matter that is just for this press conference. We'll pursue this matter to its logical legal conclusion. And so the CID is working with us to activate the Interpol protocols to issue an international arrest warrant for the gentleman. And just for the avoidance of doubt, we want to state for emphasis that the two ministries know who the individual is. In our meeting with the ambassador, his identity was established. We have his passport, which we'll be sharing with the media, his Russian passport. His first name is Vladislav, and his last name is Lyulkov. His passport with which he entered the country will be shared with the media so that his identity is also made known. And let us be clear, not all the women he has publicized were engaged in an intimate encounter with him. Some of the cases that have come to us, he barely met the women at the malls, said hi to them, engaged them, and there is actually no video, per the work the cybersecurity has done in some of those instances, of him and those ladies beyond the mall encounters. However, he splashed their images as though he had intimate encounters with all of these ladies. That is evil, and such a person must be brought to face the full rigors of the law.
Now, Sam George also provided details of their meeting with the Russian ambassador to Ghana. Take a listen.
Preliminary investigations by our cybersecurity and law enforcement agencies indicate that the suspect allegedly recorded private encounters without consent for publication and subsequently monetized the content through online platforms. These activities reportedly involved charging fees for access and receiving payments through cryptocurrency channels. The government of Ghana has initiated steps to trace and secure relevant digital and financial evidence, and this is being led by the Cybersecurity Authority, and we must commend them for the extremely great work they've done in the last 72 hours. In view of the transnational nature of this matter, together with the Minister for Gender, Children and Social Protection, Honorable Dr. Agnes Namomo-Latte, we held a formal engagement with the Russian ambassador to Ghana, His Excellency Sergei Bednikov, this morning to brief him on the status of our investigations and to formally submit a detailed brief through diplomatic channels. During our meeting with the ambassador, we reiterated that the government of President John Dramani Mahama is committed to Ghana's constitutional duty of protecting its citizens and ensuring accountability for crimes committed against Ghanaian citizens. The ambassador, in his response, acknowledged receipt of our brief and confirmed that the information we had shared with him will be transmitted to authorities in Moscow for further consideration. While he noted that there's currently no extradition treaty between Ghana and the Russian Federation, he indicated that the alleged conduct of the gentleman also constitutes a criminal offense under Russian law and assured us of continued diplomatic engagements.
Well, so that's Minister for Communications, Samuel Nate George, there on the outcome of the meeting they had with the Russian ambassador to Ghana. But the question a lot more people will be asking is what is happening to these women who were captured in these footages we've seen? Well, Minister for Gender, Children and Social Protection, Agnes Naimomolate, says some of the victims have indeed reached out to the ministry, and the ministry is providing these victims with counseling.
Children and Social Protection, like we said, is collaborating with the Minister for Communication. And some of the ladies have reached out to us, and all issues concerning progress made on this case are being handled in high confidentiality. We are also assuring those who are yet to reach out to us that they can come out. The nation is with them. Don't worry too much about those who initially threw you under the tracks. We are here to support you as a ministry, as a government. And if you've listened to His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, his intention and work and commitment is to reduce vulnerability. So anything that makes you vulnerable, we are there for you. And to also make sure that we don't leave anybody behind in this reset agenda. And so we are here to support you. And that is the collaboration we have here. Reach out to us and you are assured of confidentiality. Thank you.
Well, that is the Minister for Gender and Social Protection there. Now, we have been tracking the digital footprint of the Russian national, and my colleague Gemma is in the studio to help us out with what we do know. Gemma, in how many countries has the suspect allegedly carried out his activity, and what specific steps are the authorities taking in response?
So, Sam, our checks so far indicates the suspect has been in two countries, Kenya and Ghana. In Ghana, the incident has drawn condemnation at the highest level. We heard the communications minister, and we've also heard from the president. And information reaching us this afternoon suggests the suspect has been identified as a Russian national. You heard the communications minister. Authorities have reportedly sought assistance from INTERPOL and other relevant security agencies. The communications minister also indicated that processes are being explored toward possible extradition. At a meeting today between Ghanaian authorities and the Russian ambassador, the ambassador acknowledged receipt of the formal brief and confirmed the issue.
Now, in Kenya, we understand the Ministry of Gender is taking an action.
Yes, so the Ministry of Gender has also issued a statement. The Ministry of Gender,
in Kenya.
Yes, directing security agencies to investigate it, and also the prosecutorial agencies to act with urgency, including collaborating with international authorities due to the cross-border nature of the case.
Thank you very much. So that is what we've tried to find out for you, to really get you to appreciate who this guy is. Is this the first time he's doing this on the African continent or what? Now we don't know. That Ghana is not the only first time. We also do know now that the government is providing some counseling assistance to some of the women who have come forward to open up on this particular matter. And we also do know now that the government has established contact with the Russian authorities in trying to see what they could do. And we're also being told that they're exploring Interpol options to get this guy to face the law. But one thing is that they do give that bold order or suggestion that the guy, this Russian national, will be prosecuted in absentia. We have a lot of discussions on this particular matter coming up here on Top Story. Do stay with us. Well, this is Top Story brought to you by Telecel, connecting energies, holy insecticide spray and coil. Enjoy a holy sleep, and also by Short Pension Trust, into the future with you. This is live on Love 99.5 FM in Kumasi, also on ATL 100.5 in Cape Coast, and on Radio Max in Takrade. Let me bring in Dr. Jones Opokuwari. He is a criminologist and lecturer at KNUST. Doc, I'm grateful to you for joining us here. Now, you've heard that the government is exploring the Interpol angle to bring in this guy to face justice. From your knowledge of how Interpol operates, and you being a criminologist, will this get the guy to really face justice in Ghana?
All right. Thank you very much, and a very good evening to your viewers and also to your listeners. If I look at the workings of the Interpol and how they operate, let's be very clear. The Interpol, as we know it, is more like an administrative body. It is not really a police force. So what it does is that it facilitates some form of information sharing between the member states. And now, if I look at the nature of the issue we are looking at, one, a foreign citizen, not a Ghanaian, who has come into our country to commit a crime. And now the first thing is that if the person to abscond or leave the premises of this country, does Ghana have any, extradition agreement between the country for which this person is an indigent, or maybe is originating from?
We now know we don't have any extradition.
It doesn't look like Ghana have that kind of treaty with Russia. Mm-hmm. So now, if this guy should get into the Russian Federation, getting him back into our country, I think that is going to be a very tall order, especially when we don't have any existing, regime that talks about extradition of foreigners, especially from the Russian Federation, who come into our country and come and commit crimes of this nature. So I see that it's going to be a very tall order for the country, even though the government wants to explore even the Interpol section. The point is that it raises more questions. Because one, if for instance this guy should leave Russia and let's say he gets arrested in somewhere, let's say UK, would the UK government agree to actually extradite this citizen who is not a Ghanaian citizen, but rather a Russian citizen, from its territory into a third territory, for which probably there is no kind of agreement that is existing. So I think that it's a very complicated issue that I feel we find ourselves in. And while the government wants to explore that, I think that it's going to be a thought from my understanding.
So from where you sit, what should be the best option to get some level of justice for these victims?
Well, as what you should do, I think that the government itself, I believe, knows that it's probably in between, a hard rock and a deep place. And I think that is why they are looking at all these options. So now, what I'm seeing is our government, because of the complicated nature of the situation as we have it, one, there is no existing, treaty between us and Russia, and the fact that the guy is also not in our jurisdiction, but also in the jurisdiction probably of Russia. The government itself knows that, look, this is a very complicated issue as we have it, and that is why they are trying to, explore those other means to see if there is that opportunity for us to really get some form of justice for these people. I think that at this moment we may have to appeal to the conscience of the Russian Republic, especially the government officials of Russia, to make sure that even if we are not able to, as it were, bring him down here to face the full rigors of the law, at least some form of reparation, some form of compensation, I think should be we should be able to get between the Russian Federation and the government of Ghana for these victims. or probably to appeal to them for them to apply their laws to these individuals, especially when this person has come into another jurisdiction to commit that crime. So I'm thinking that at this moment we may have to use more of the diplomatic channels, in seeking to get the Russian
has been put on hold. Please wait.
The way we are thinking.
But I mean, once we do know this is criminal in Ghanaian laws, and we also do know that he is getting some proceeds from the uploads he's done, is there a way that the proceeds from this quote unquote criminal enterprise can then be used to appease the victims? Is there anything like that?
Well, we don't really want to benefit from the proceeds of crime, because whatever he's done, even by Ghana's students, is criminal, and all of us know that you cannot even benefit from criminal. So if whatever he's done is something that is illegal, something that goes against the laws of this country, and probably I know maybe many laws across the world, we cannot seek to profit from that kind of act and what he's doing and whatever he's benefiting from. I am saying, and based on what I know and the situation we have ourselves in now, I think that the government of Ghana will have to be more diplomatic, use the diplomatic channels more, especially in dealing with the Russian people, the Russian government, to make sure that, look, even if we are not able to arrest him and get him to come to Ghana to face our laws, at least what does their law also say when their citizens go into other countries and go and commit crimes of this nature? Is it possible they can apply their domestic laws to this guy? And if they apply it and there is a way for us to get some compensation, I mean, government to government, I think that we can seek for that kind of settlement, so that if there is any reparations that have to be given to our people here, especially the ladies that have gone through some of very bad damage to their reputation. We can at least find some way to alleviate it some way and get this reparations for them. So that is how I am seeing it, especially because of the complicated nature I think we find ourselves in now.
Okay, I'm grateful to you. Let me bring in Kletos Dapila Seidu. He's Vice Chairman, Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration. I'm grateful to you for joining us. We're now being told the difficulty that government faces in dealing with this matter. Will you as a committee then help or urge government to probably explore the in-country in Russia, how this guy can be made to face the laws there? Because we're being told today that the ambassador acknowledged that what he did frowns upon some laws of Russia.
Well, thank you so much for the opportunity to comment on this matter. I say good evening to yourself and your distinguished listeners across the globe. Well, it's unfortunate that this incident has happened. It's just to tell us that everybody should be cautious in who you deal with. For instance, first and foremost, let me also say that the victims or the ladies in this situation, they first and foremost need to be identified and be given some kind of counseling psychologically and all of that. This is what they need for now. Otherwise, before you realize, in the coming days, you will hear many suicides happening. So first and foremost, the government needs to, particularly the gender ministry, needs to get in touch with the families or they themselves to encourage them, get psychologists to kind of engage them by counseling them and letting them know that that's not the end of their life. The future is still bright. It's a thing. It's something that will pass. Pain, for every pain, it will always die off. No pain stays forever. So they need this kind of psychological counseling before we then look at the person involved. You understand? So it's something that government should not take for granted.
But what does the Foreign Affairs Committee of Parliament intend to do to support, government in seeking justice for the victims?
Well, the first and foremost, diplomatic appeal. Diplomatic appeal is what we can use. If diplomatic appeals, which seems to be failing, then we can trigger international tools like Interpol. Or we can still go ahead and try him in absentia, which will mean that many countries will know that this person committed a crime in Ghana and was tried in absentia and he's serving a jail term or a number of terms, which is possible because it has to be done. Something has to be done.
Okay.
Some punishment ought to be meted out
to
serve as deterrent. Because this person, even what I also want the Foreign Affairs Ministry to do, or like what my committee will urge the ministry to do, is that he traveled through the borders of Ghana. He used the airport. He has his passport details, and through that, they can get every detail of that young man. So I've heard people saying that the name being mentioned is not even a Russian name. People can identify the person. I said, no, it's not true. If you check his details, how he exited Ghana, we should be able to trace and know him and even know his family ties, where we can even sort of punish them, not just the guy, because we can even punish his family, immediate family, to let them know that if you don't produce your son to come and face charges because he committed A, B, C, D crime, we will not even permit you to come to this country.
I'm grateful to you. Kletos Depila Seidu is Vice Chairman, Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration Committee of Parliament. Let me bring in Professor Kojo Brace. He is Professor of International Law at the University of Ghana. Prof, I mean, from your knowledge of international law, we are being made to understand that this is a huge task for Ghana. But is there a legal basis for, say, France to extradite this Russian citizen to Ghana if he's arrested through the Interpol system?
Well, thanks for having me. I don't know where this alleged criminal is, but to avoid the situation where we see the possibility of facing a number of stumbling blocks from Russia, and there's also the likelihood that he might not be in Russia now. Wherever he might be, if that country is a member of Interpol, the Interpol option can be explored. But we must say that it is not an easy task. Before anything can go on through Interpol, victims should have complained, and some investigation should have been done, and
well, Prof, we do know now that victims have complained, and that is what has caused government to start acting. So that bit has been covered.
But have charges been laid against this person?
We cannot tell.
That also needs to be covered, yeah. Because Interpol will act based on the fact that a crime has been committed and charges have been laid, and it has not been possible to, or this person has escaped from justice, has become a fugitive. So that will be the basis for Interpol to come in. So that is the first thing that should be done. The second thing that, or the likely hurdle that needs to be cleared now is that when Interpol receives these requests, it will have to cooperate. There should be a cooperation with the country where this suspect is, so that they will then decide if all the necessary processes have been taken through, and then that country will then decide if it wants to extradite this person to Ghana. At that stage, that country may also want to look at whether there's an extradition treaty between the two countries. And of course, Interpol will also check to know that this is not a political crime. So it's possible that angle will not be difficult to clear.
But Prof, when he's not a citizen of Ghana but of Russia, will it be that easy for a third party which is able to arrest this guy to extradite him to Ghana straight away?
It is possible, going through Interpol. But what we also need to note is that it is not the red notice that Interpol will issue is not necessarily an international arrest warrant. So it will call for cooperation between Ghana and that particular country to make sure that that country will recognize that a crime has been committed. This is a crime that is also an act which will also be considered a crime in that particular country. And so it will then initiate a process where this person can be brought to Ghana for trial.
So from this, must we be hopeful that the victims may possibly get some justice of a sort?
Well, yes, it depends on the circumstances, as I've said. So if these conditions are cleared, then with the agreeing that it will cooperate with requests by Ghana and working through Interpol, that possibility exists.
Prof, I'm grateful to you for your education this evening. That's Professor Kojo Brace. He's Professor of International Law at the University of Ghana. This has been Top Story. My name is Samuel Kojo Brace. Up next is Newsnight.
There are many reasons to connect, and it's all to put smiles on the faces of those you love.
Daddy, thanks for the tea cash, okay? I love you.
That's my daughter, Angela. Caring for my parents, that's my duty. I also get to pay my utility bills easily with Telecel Cash. And to the suppliers at my shop,
hello, sir. Telecel Cash payment received right on time. Thank you.
I get to make them smile because I can pay to my suppliers' merchant numbers, even on other networks directly. My dear ones.
We keep the connection stronger when our family, friends, and business relations are happy. Live on cash, enjoy convenience, and make those who matter smile when you send them money with Telecel Cash.
Telecel, connecting energies.
Couldn't sleep at night. Mosquitoes will be whining my ears, bugging me all night long. Till I got a remedy. Now I'll be spraying them away with holy insecticide spray. I go spray them away with holy insecticide spray. When I sleep, me dana mada with holy insecticide spray.
Holy mosquito coil, holy multi-purpose insecticide spray. Dana kron kron. For bulk purchase, call 0302 681582. This advert is FDA approved.
Son, we are so proud of you for setting up this hospital. I really love those hospital beds and waiting chairs. By the way, did you import them?
No, Dad, I didn't. I actually got them from Kindle Books and Stationery right here in Ghana.
Wow. We also bought our office supplies, safes, executive desks, and chairs from Kingdom, and they gave us expert advice on how to set up our office.
Guys, that makes 3 of us. I also got our sofa and bedroom sets, plus our dining hall furniture for our new home from Kingdom.
Wow, Mom, that makes 4 of us. I usually get my stationery items from Kingdom, and my teacher also mentioned that our classroom furniture was provided by Kingdom.
So there you have it. Whenever you're thinking about setting up an office or acquiring furniture for your home, etc., Kingdom Books and Stationery should be your first port of call. With over 40 years experience in the industry, we stock and supply a wide variety of globally sourced office and home furniture, stationery and equipment. Visit our head office,
Takweje, Osu near the Osu Cemetery, Tema near Community 4, Takoradi opposite Vijay Mays Plaza, Cape Coast University Bookshop, Spintex Road near Absa Bank, Atomic Centerpoint Mall, Winneba University Campus, KNUST, the University Bookshop, and Santasi in Kumasi. You can also visit our shop online, www.kingdomstoreonline.com. Hurry while stock lasts. For further inquiries, contact us on 050-162-0810 or 0302-764-101. Email info@kingdomgh.com. Kingdom Books and Stationery Limited, where quality and affordability is assured. Terms and conditions apply.
Hello, good evening and welcome to Newsnight. This bulletin is live on Joy 99.7 in Accra, Love 99.5 FM in Kumasi, and on over 30 affiliates across the country. Tonight, petitioners seeking the removal of EC Chair, her deputies and special prosecutors stand by the Chief Justice's ruling that there is no prima facie evidence to justify further investigation.
We find it very, very disappointing at the moment because we have raised a concern and more mature grounds for the Chief Justice to determine the prima facie case, and we are just shocked about the news.
What a shock. I totally disagree with my lord. I will hit the street again. Next month, I'm hitting the street again. I staged a one-man demonstration, but I will call people to join if they want to join, fine. But still, it's Apostle from Lincoln Lab. If they join me, fine. If they don't want to join me, I will hit the street again.
We'll hear from the petitioners as they assess their options. We'll also get reactions from the NPP, which insists the decision is a political maneuver designed to ease international pressure. They are tonight questioning President Mahama's leadership style.
Remember, the government has received backlash with their conduct for removing the Chief Justice. So they are trying as much as possible to minimize their attacks because they have created a lot of problems in the justice system.
Also tonight, police begins investigations into the alleged Mamprobi baby theft case, moving to track down suspected accomplices after the arrest of the main suspect.
The suspect is currently in police custody. Investigations are ongoing and further updates will be communicated soon.
We bring you details as residents blame the health facility for poor security conditions and alleged negligence.
To me, I noticed that it was lack of security. I don't see the reason why that somebody can come and give birth here and just within a few minutes or within a few seconds, someone from outside can get advantage and take the baby just like that. Especially the security, the nurses, and those people who were talking behind the scene when this thing started. I feel that they are all guilty. So it's like, if this one, we didn't take any action, and they would have taken the baby away like that.
In business,
Ghana set to witness an improved credit ratings in coming months after another round of debt restructuring payments to bondholders.
In sports,
Orlando Ayew dismisses retirement talks, insisting he's poised to keep playing at the highest level even at the age of 36.
And also coming up later on, Ghana Catholic Bishops' Conference joins growing calls for the immediate interdiction of Amansia Central District Chief Executive following a Joy News Hotline documentary showing officials allegedly issuing licenses to illegal miners, with the DCE admitting authorization.
Assembly may as DCE, Mama na Frakonya na so onkonkoye. Ono ye mining desk officer. It is a Akonya Tolosi yan na enya dia fine ye ka ho aso.
And a bit later, MPP's clean sweep. They ditching the insults and focusing on issues. That is according to the party's General Secretary, Justin Kodia. We have details for you as the party rolls out internal election timelines with filing fees ranging from 10 to 50,000 Ghana cedis. We got the latest of these and many other stories coming up in the next 60 minutes. My name is Kenneth Gyasi.
My name is Pearl Ofori.
You can be a part of this show by sending us a WhatsApp on 055 11 11 997. Details shortly. Many thanks for your time tonight. Petitioners are regrouping after the Chief Justice and Presidency shut down attempts to remove the Electoral Commission chairperson and her deputies, citing no prima facie case. The decision announced by the Chief Justice and confirmed by the presidency has sparked anger and disappointment among some of them. The move had been triggered by 7 petitioners against the Electoral Commission leadership and 3 against the special prosecutor, referred by President John Mahama. Justice Paul Bafuboni on January 26, 2026, informed the president that no further investigation was warranted. The presidency confirmed the dismissal in February 18th, 2028 or 2026 statement signed by the spokesperson Felix Kwachi Ofosu. We will hear from the presidency shortly, but first, though, my colleague Michael Ashale is walking us through the petitions and the constitutional process for removing the Electoral Commission chairperson and her deputies as well. And Michael, what can you tell us?
Well, if we talk about the process for the removal of the Electoral Commission, we'll start from Article 146 of the 1992 Constitution, which provides that the chairperson and deputy chairpersons of the Electoral Commission can only be removed on the same grounds as a justice of the Superior Court. That is for stated misbehavior, incompetence, or inability to perform the functions of the office due to infirmity of body or mind. The process, we know, begins with a petition to the president. The president then refers it to the Chief Justice to determine whether a prima facie case has been established. And if a prima facie case is found, a committee is set up to investigate and make recommendations. And if no such case is found, then the matter ends there. Kenneth.
Let's look at some of the petitions sent to the presidency calling for the removal of the EC chair and her deputies. What were the grounds cited in those petitions?
Kenneth, we understand that there were about 7 petitions, though only 2 have been publicly detailed. The first came from EC staff member Joseph Blankson Adumaji, who petitioned President Mahama under Article 146, citing 12 counts of alleged misbehavior. He accused the chairperson and her deputies of cronyism, abuse of office, gross incompetence, arguing that their conduct had eroded public confidence and threatened the credibility of Ghana's electoral system. The second petition, we understand, also came from the Positive Transparency and Accountability Movement Africa, which cited what it described as financial loss to the state and misconduct and abuse of public office. The group argued that procuring new biometric devices and compiling a new voter register before the 2020 election was unnecessary and costly. It further alleged that the EC knowingly created a constitutional crisis by conducting voter registration during the peak of COVID-19, exposing citizens to life-threatening risk. Peter Africa also claimed that 2020 presidential elections were revised 5 times, creating confusion, and pointed to observer reports describing parts of the process as opaque and untrustworthy. Kenneth.
Well, thank you very much, Michael. Meanwhile, beyond these petitioners, the national chairman of the NDC, Johnson Esiedu Nketia, publicly called for the removal of the EC leadership.
We are having a wrong election management body in place, and so that is a subject of reset in future.
Resetting the EC?
Sure.
What does that mean?
It means that bringing it back into an institution that is fit for purpose. The way it is existing now, it's not fit for purpose, because you cannot have, with all the laws that we have, you cannot still be having an election that will go into a stalemate. There is no anticipation of any stalemate in elections in any of our laws, unless people don't want to do their work well. And so it's a clear case of, negligence or inability to perform its functions. So it's a good reason why the Electoral Commission needs to be reset. And that is not the only issue. Remember, 4 years ago, there was the issue of SAL. A whole constituency went unrepresented for 4 years. And then, so when this commission, as presently constituted, took over the reins of the Electoral Commission, they have never done an election that is satisfactory. These 2 major elections, the first one constituency went unrepresented for 4 years, and then their second election is this one. And then with the by-elections, Ayawaso West, Wogon, everything has been removed. So there is overwhelming evidence that this commission is not fit for purpose. And if any serious country will want to maintain this type of electoral commission, then I don't know what the country is about.
So there will be a change at the EC leadership?
There has to be a change.
Do you mean some must go?
Yes, I think the three top leadership must all go.
So that will be the chairperson herself and her two
deputies. Yeah.
Jumensa, then Boxman Asari, and I believe you've been working, he's not always in the news.
Tete. They must all go. They have mismanaged the commission so badly.
And that was NDC Chair Johnson Asiedu Nketia speaking with Evans Mensah last year. He wasn't the only one who called for the removal of the EC Chair. The NDC General Secretary Fifi Fiavikwete did the same.
I'm not going to jump the gun. I want to say that if the petitions are submitted, let the due process be followed.
But you want them.
I've said it on the back of that. For me, that's the biggest crime that can ever be committed. Any group that supervises that has clearly no reason to remain in office. That's the biggest crime you can commit in any democracy.
General Secretary
to take away what you call the right of people from being represented. So it's not so much about what I want, it's about what I think is wrong.
General Secretary wants them gone. National Chairman wants them gone. The Deputy General Secretary last week told me he also wants them gone. And then there's a petition. Is that coincidence?
I believe that.
Is that coincidence that all of you want them gone? There's a petition to remove them?
Even I believe if you could commission an independent survey to gauge the sentiment of the people of Ghana, I believe that a vast majority of Ghanaians will want them gone too. So I don't think it's anything to do with a general secretary or the national chairman. I think the people of Ghana would want them gone too.
That's the General Secretary of the governing NDC, Fifi Kwete there. On the other side, though, the MPP's General Secretary, Justin Korea Frimpong, indicated that the party would not defend the EC chair in light of what he described as previous electoral grievances. Listen.
That based on whatever reasons, they think you should go for a rerun.
I mean, Johnson Asiedu Nketia says the Electoral Commission is incompetent. They need to be reset. They are not fit for purpose. You must certainly agree now, considering your grievance with the East Electoral Commission, or you disagree still?
Well, based on what is happening currently, I'm unable to even speak positively of the Electoral Commission, because the inconsistency from their action even makes it difficult for me to even understand the decision that they have taken. So or for me to even criticize a person's perception about the Electoral Commission.
So you agree with Johnson Asiedu Nketia?
Well, that's the point I've made, that I'm unable to even side with them. I'm unable to even defend them. Because if you cannot be consistent with your own decision, if you cannot be coherent, then it makes it difficult for people to even predict you. And that is where we are as a country. At least the Electoral Commission must have principle.
You think they lack that?
Certainly they do, because of what we are witnessing at the moment.
But after months of consideration, the Chief Justice, through the President, has dismissed the petition, stating that they failed to establish a prima facie case. Michael Ashale is in the studio with us, and he joins us with he's in the studio with us with a statement from the President. So, Michael, what did the Chief Justice say about these petitions?
So, the statement says that following the receipt of the 7 petitions from various individuals and groups for the removal of the chairperson of the Electoral Commission and her deputies, and 3 petitions for that of the OSP, President John Mahama, in accordance with Article 146 of the 1992 Constitution and Section 15 of the Office of the Special Prosecutor Act 2017, referred same to His Lordship Justice Paul Bafo-Boni, Chief Justice, on 25th November 2025 to determine whether the petitions disclose a prima facie case. By letter dated 26th January 2026, the Chief Justice informed His Excellency the President that no prima facie case has been established by the petitions to warrant any further investigations for the removal of the Electoral Commissioner, Deputy Commissioners, and the Office of the Special Prosecutor. Yeah.
Michael Ashere, thank you so much for that statement from the presidency.
Right, let's go onto the telephone lines right now and speak to Ebenezer Havo. He's the president of the Positive Transparency and Accountability Movement. He's one of the petitioners who were seeking for the removal of the Electoral Commissioner and her 2 deputies. Ebenezer, now that the Chief Justice said he found no prima facie case against the Electoral Commissioner and her 2 deputies, what next? Are you going to repetition? Hello, Ebenezer. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Thank you. Good evening to your listeners across the country. Yes, we have read the statement coming from the presidency this afternoon, and it's very unfortunate. Both parties are complaining about the attitude and the incompetence of the EC, and we civil society organization also raising concern. And if you look critically on in our petition, we do mention a lot of grounds in which we can stand to remove the EC and its deputies. So it's very shocking to hear from the CJ that it cannot establish a formal facet case among all the petitions be submitted to his desk. It's very unfortunate.
So what next? Are you going to repetition?
Yes, we are looking to that. We are speaking to our lawyers to repetition the president, and then the necessary action has to be taken to remove the Mensa and its deputies out of office. Because NPP compressing, NDC compressing. So we civil society as a group, we call on the president. You know, this thing, the president cannot determine a summons as a case. It's a CJ who will have to do that. And he said he cannot establish that. Come again?
The CJ did that.
Yes, he said he cannot determine it. And we find it unfortunate because a lawyer at its caliber cannot tell us that some people have been without MP for 4 good years, and that is not a violation of the Constitution or human rights.
So now,
and if you look at testimony of 8 people have been killed without any accountability from the EC. Election results have been changed consistently 5 consecutive times, and the EC have no right to tell us that he cannot speak to that. So we are calling, we as a civil society, we are calling on the president once again that he should really look at their decision, and we will possibly repetition the president again.
Okay. Right. So beyond the petition, though, are you considering other options apart from the petition?
We will be speaking to our lawyers. If possible, we can exhaust other avenues. We will seek for that remedy. Because they must go. If we keep these people in office, we don't know what next will come, and we are using our taxpayers' money to pay them. It's on their pocket money, and they must be accountable for every single action that they have taken in that office.
Right, Ebenezer Havo, thank you very much. He's the president of the Positive Transparency and Accountability Movement, and he's also one of the petitioners who were seeking for the removal of Jean Mensah, the EC chair, and her 2 deputies. And he says that all options are available on the table. Pearl?
Now, another petitioner seeking the removal of Special Prosecutor Kisiye Jaben is Apostle Abraham Lincoln Labi, who had accused the OSP of failing to deliver results, acting in bad faith, and not living up to its purpose, calling for Jaben's removal and possibly dissolving the office. He was backed by his lawyer, Martin Pebu, and others.
When your special prosecutor comes to lie to Ghanaians that he was attempting to arrest Oforiata, and yet he has no evidence of it, and the state institutions are denying, that alone is sufficient for Gyasi Ejabe to resign.
We don't hate him, but we hate his works. Look, this is a person who plays on our intelligence. One way or that, you have to sign resignation letter straight.
Right, and reacting to the CJ's ruling, Apostle Abraham Lincoln Labi says this is not the end of the matter and hinted of more demonstrations to support his petition.
I'm really surprised when I heard about the Chief Justice saying that there's no prima facie case in what the petitions that we gave to the president, or the petition that the president forwarded to him. What a shock. Is he trying to say, you know, my petition is about demonstrating bad faith by allowing Ofori to leave the country. All the petitions, my petition, for instance, has a solid grounds. Things are clear. It's not something that we are fabricating, or Apostle Lincoln is fabricating, sorry to say. These are clear issues. So what is the fact that you come out and say that there's no prima facie case? My Lord, the way forward is the fact that I will hit the street again. My Lord, I disagree. I totally disagree with my Lord. I totally disagree with him straight. I will hit the street again. This is not a personal attack on him. But this is, we are protecting. When you do this, you are creating something for people to doubt the credibility of the judicial service. People will be reading meaning into the judicial. Meanwhile, John Dramani Mahama promised to claim the judicial service. So is it trying to say that, well, all the petition, all the four, or all the whatever, there's no prima facie case? I will hit the street again. Next month, I'm hitting the street again. By month. Or I stage a one-man demonstration, but I will call people to join if they want to join fast. But
let's speak to Martin Pebu. He's a private legal practitioner. Good evening and thank you for your time here on Newsnight. Are you surprised by the Chief Justice's decision?
So let's say not surprised, because I had heard through the grapevine that it looks like these petitions will not go anywhere. So I need to be candid. You know, sir?
Martin, can you reposition yourself? We can hardly hear you.
So my mind is not the way, except that it is fun. Because at the time I was presenting that's how come I got more support, because more people see that this earlier petition maybe would not grant. So it happened.
Martin, just want to find out from you, will you be considering other options, or this is the end of the road for you?
No, end of the road doesn't come up at all. My petition is not part of. My petition is not part of those that were dismissed. No. So I presented my petition well after the first three had been handed over to the Chief Justice. So if you check, the publication showing that the three petitions concerning the removal of Gyasi Ejabe was made on 1st of December. That publication, my journal online, you're very important, was on 1st of December. And so with my petition presented 11 days later, it could not have been made part of that three. And before even the major online publication, Daily Graphic had done an RTI this request, and that's where it was revealed that there were three petitions against Gyasi Ejabe and then 7 against the ECC. So that one was in November, and my petition is 11th December. So it means that we have to wait for the decision on mine as well.
Martin Pebu, thank you so much for your time here on Newsnight.
Well, in other stories tonight, the Ghana Police Service has launched an investigation into an alleged baby theft at Mamprobi Polyclinic. According to the police, the suspect claimed she had delivered at the facility due to no available births, but police say there's no evidence to support the story. Director of Public Affairs at the Ghana Police Service, Juliana Obeng, confirmed the baby has been recovered and is receiving medical treatment. The suspect remains in custody as investigations continue.
The police arrested a suspect, Latifa Salifo, who is 33 years of age, and is a cloth seller here in Accra at the premises of Kolebu Teaching Hospital, where she was found with a baby suspected to have been the missing child. Suspects claimed that she had delivered at the hospital and was discharged due to lack of birth. However, police investigations at the hospital revealed there was no records to support her claim. The suspect is currently in police custody, whilst arrangements are underway to place the baby under hospital care for safekeeping, further investigations, and medical attention. Investigations are ongoing, and further updates will be communicated soon.
And my colleague Ramat Bashir visited the hospital earlier and is joining me in the studio with more. Ramat, describe the situation at the facility when you got there.
When I arrived at the Mamprobi Polyclinic, the atmosphere was very tense. The facility was crowded with residents and community members who had gathered to sympathize with the family of the alleged stolen newborn baby. Health services were briefly disrupted as patients who had come for treatment joined community members to demand justice for the family. However, before we left the facility, both the baby and the mother were reported to be in good condition. They were later discharged amid tight security, leaving the hospital in V8 as the Minister for Gender, Children and Social Protection assured the family of government full support.
And Amati also spoke to the relatives. What did they tell you?
Yes, Pearl, the father of the stolen baby described the experience as deeply traumatized. Together with other relatives, he expressed disappointment and concern over what they say is a serious lapse at the security facility. We can listen to them.
To me, I noticed that it was lack of security. I don't see the reason why that somebody can come and give birth here and just within a few minutes or within a few seconds, someone from outside can get advantage and take the baby just like that. Especially the security, the nurses, and those people who were talking behind the scene when this thing started. I feel that they are all guilty. So it's like, if this one, we didn't take any action, and they would have taken the baby away like that. Any pregnant woman who is coming to give birth here, they should be very vigilant.
We haven't slept since yesterday night. I went off around 4 a.m. and we just wake up around like 4:30 and die. This thing that happened, it happened to Obia, sort of, or the guy sitting home by as in next form. Oh, we are taking a legal action because, you know, the mom is being traumatized and, you know, so traumatized, yes. So, you know, we have already spoken to our lawyer and we are taking it on.
And we're joined on the phone lines by security analyst Victor Doke and the Minister for Gender, Children and Social Protection, Agnes Namomolate. Good evening and thank you for your time here on Newsnight. I'll start with you, the Gender Minister. So beyond the assurances you've been given, what concrete support is government providing the affected family following this traumatic experience? Madam Latte?
Thank you very much for having me. I once again want to say a big thank you to all who have supported in ensuring that we get the baby back to the mother and the family. I want to thank the police. I want to thank the community members and each and every one of the 3 MPs who, when I knocked on their doors, early as it was, they joined to make sure that we were there to support the baby and the mother and the family in entirety. This is not just words of assurance, but it is to let the family know that we acknowledge what they've been through and then the state is there for them. We want to thank the media for bringing this to the fore and then following through even up to this stage. I know that we are all going to support the family to ensure that they recover fully. Where we are now, it is a point of healing for especially the mother as she works towards recovering from the shock. and then taking good care of herself and the baby. But like you said, they are all receiving support. The other side of it is that in terms of the cost of treatment and all that, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama has assured the family that will be taken care of. And then getting them into therapy, and so that will be taken care of. And that does not go only for just the family, but also the suspect will also be given some kind of support.
Very well, but going forward, will your ministry push for a review of safety protocols and public health facilities to ensure that newborns and indeed mothers are better protected?
Yes, definitely. I say to all health workers that the security starts from when the person enters the premises, and then through to when the person exits the premises. And so it is important that we look at each of these processes and see where the loopholes are. They will do their stories, and then after that, we'll do not the stories but the report, and then we will also do our reports, harmonize them, and then pick up the lessons from them. But it is very obvious that the security, in terms of not just the physical presence of security personnel, but also the CCTV cameras, documentation, records keeping, all of those ones that can be traced. Because if there was no proper documentation, you realize that this process would have dragged longer than it needed to be. So it was based on the records that we were able to know that, yes, the lady is holding a baby, but definitely not delivered by her at the facility. And so I think the issue of security is paramount. And then the human relations, not just the relationship between the patients and the health workers, but also the relationship between the community and the facility operators or health workers is also very important. And some of the things that have happened afterwards could have been avoided.
Right. Minister Kenneth here. So does that mean that the suspect, the baby theft suspect, is not going to be prosecuted? We understand she's currently in police custody. What happens to her?
I haven't heard that she's not going to be prosecuted because what she did, we all agree that it's a criminal offense. And so if we are offering support, the support doesn't mean that she is not going to face the law. She will face the law all the same. She's in police custody. I haven't heard of her being bailed yet, but I know she's in police custody. And I have spoken with the husband earlier. And so they are aware that in as much as we empathize with the situation or the pressure that might have led to her doing what she did, the law, is there to make sure that justice is served to baby and mother.
Right, Minister, thank you very much. That's Agnes Na Momolate. She's the Minister for Gender, Children and Social Protection. We've also been joined on the telephone lines by Victor Doke, who is a security analyst. Dr. Doke, grateful for your time this evening. It has now been established that this was a clear breach of security at the health facility. Going forward, what lessons should the security protocol be at that particular facility and indeed across all health facilities in the country?
Thank you very much. I think the protocol should be of standard. By that I mean we need the Ministry of Health, Ministry of Interior, and of course the Gender Ministry to come together to iron out models of operandi or standard operation with regard to hospital security. You need a man, cyber security, and then internal security management also. As you would have in every agency or most of the agencies where you have head of security.
Right.
Okay? So if there isn't, now we need to look at how we can bring in personalities who focus solely on hospital security, where there will be tasked to man the screening of the cameras 247 so that we don't have incidents happening before we go back to play. What if something happens and then the data is damaged? Then you wouldn't have any information to fall on. So we need to look at all those activities. We arrange those private security personnel that will be manning the gates and then the inner perimeters of hospitals or clinics or whatever it is. There needs to be that capacity for the hospital staff to be, security conscious, to be very much aware of their environment. Whoever is not supposed to enter a restricted area to be questioned and even handed over for more questions. I think we were too much sort of like relaxed in fact that everybody just goes anywhere at any point in time without asking questions. Okay? And this is what has happened. So investigations are ongoing.
Right.
It should be extensive, and then it should be speedily done. We come to the conclusion and move forward. Let's see what the ministry would do with regards to taking up lessons from this, and then making sure it does not repeat itself. And I beg to differ that we should desist, my personal opinion, desist from saying we give support to people who have committed crimes. Other than that, it means that if I go to steal, which I know is a crime, I'm going to receive support. Which kind of support am I going to receive when I know I've committed a crime? In our laws, crime is crime, and it is going to be dealt with by the law. So I think we should be very careful in that angle, my personal opinion.
Right. Dr. Victor Doke is a security analyst. Thank you very much. And earlier we heard from Agnes Namumulate, who is the Minister for Gender, Children and Social Protection. It's now time for business, and George is joining me with the latest. George, what have you got for us?
Well, Kenneth, coming up, Ghana set to witness an improved credit ratings in coming months after another round of debt exchange program payments to bond holders. And produce buying company announces reopening of all buying centers across the country after facing near collapse and property seizures. The business news on Newsnight is brought to you by MTN Business. Welcome to the new world of business. Kingdom Books and Stationery, your number one-stop shop for all your office essentials, Cintas, tags, and Pepsodent, Herbal, and Charcoal.
Momo. It has made life happen in lots of good ways.
Mr. Kwanzaa, Minsaka insurance claim no.
It has put together beautiful weddings. It has filled the bellies of boys at their favorite watchy joint.
My guy, stop. Who they chop cancel these days?
It has made millions of businesses possible.
Minsaka no. We are back in business.
With just a few taps, money moves faster, easier, and safer. Momo understands the weight of your trust in us. We continuously enhance security with features like self-paying reset to help you protect your money. Momo will only call you with 0244 300,000. No MTN or Momo staff will call or ask for your PIN or one-time password. Do not transfer funds to anyone whose identity you have not verified. Do not approve any prompts you have not initiated. Momo, still Munsaka.
This Val's Day, don't just say I love you. Show it with a gift that keeps your loved ones moving. From February 10th to 20th, gift that special someone a full tank of love with a Star Oil fuel voucher customized with their own photo. Visit staroil.services/store to purchase and customize your preferred voucher now. Because real love doesn't run out, it stays full. Star Oil fuel vouchers, the perfect Valentine's gift.
If you want quality, this be where you belong. Hey, tough, hey, strong. Oh, gonna shout and sing the song. When the sun they hot, syntax no break. When the rain they fall, still no shake. Builders they choose and plumbers they prove. Any project you they start.
Brushing gets more fun with your kids with the new Pepsodent Kids toothpaste. Give their smiles protection that lasts. Grab yours today from a store near you. This advert is FDA approved.
You're welcome back to Business on News Night, and let's now settle for the details. The country could in the coming months witness an improvement in its ratings. Now, this was after government advanced some 10 billion Ghana cedis as interest payments to bondholders of the debt exchange program. We have details in the following report.
Ghana is currently classified within the B ratings range and with a stable outlook by some of the rating agencies. Now, the country got to this level after some improvement in the economy and debt payment. Going through most of the reports by the International Credit Ratings, Ghana's decision to embark on a debt restructuring and delays in paying debt owed bondholders was a major factor in downgrading Ghana over the past years. Some market watchers have argued that based on this latest round of payment, the rating agencies will definitely upgrade Ghana when it comes to its ability to settle its debt owed investors on time. Another issue that will work in Ghana's favor is the fact that the country currently has a strong reserve position, and that should also give some comfort to investors when it comes to future debt payment. We should also not forget about the cedi stability over the past month and how that could also influence Ghana's credit ratings going forward.
And that is the Business Desk report. Now, Bank of Ghana Governor Dr. Johnson Isiama has cautioned banks against complacency in credit risk management despite recent improvement in the non-performing loans. Addressing heads of banks at the Post-Monetary Policy Committee meeting, Dr. Isiama noted that despite the decline, there are still some structural issues that should guide their engagements going forward.
While non-performing loans have declined, they remain above benchmark levels. As credit expansion resumes, underwriting discipline and sectoral risk assessment will be critical. Stability must now translate into purposeful intermediation, supporting agriculture, manufacturing, SMEs, and value-adding sectors without reintroducing asset quality pressures. Business model analysis will now form an embedded part of supervisory assessment, supporting the early identification of emerging risks and enabling timely policy and supervisory interventions.
Bank of Ghana Governor Dr. Johnson Isiama. Now, after facing near collapse in property users, the produce buying company has announced the reopening of all buying centers across the country. The announcement follows reforms by government to empower state-owned bulk cocoa purchasing company. Speaking at a news conference in Accra, Managing Director Seydou Nyonye assured that they are on track to rolling out an effective model that will keep the company operational in the medium to long term.
All PBC cocoa purchasing centers are now fully operational to transact business effective immediately. PBC robot infrastructures, government backing, and transparent processes are available to guarantee remuneration for cocoa deliveries. All PBC field staffs are reminded to remain at post to facilitate a seamless collection of cocoa from farmers in the depots for certification and payment processing. Any buyer or individual occupying PBC's accredited depot or shed without the express approval of management are directed to vacate effective immediately.
Managing Director of a produce buying company, Seydou Nyonye. Now, government is on track to government is taking some aggressive measures to deal with the more than $300 million import bill for poultry every year. It has to this end joined hands with some private businesses to construct poultry processing centers across the country. Kwame Yanka has the rest of the story.
Beacon Source and Services, together with its German partner, Bostex Trading GmbH, has commissioned an expanded cold storage facility and broken ground for a new poultry processing complex to boost local production and value addition. This investment aligns with the Feed Ghana program, as Agric Minister Eric Opoku says reforms under the poultry industry will tackle high feed costs.
Beacon Source and Services Limited
has demonstrated commendable foresight by aligning a private investment strategy with national policy priorities.
Presidential Advisor on 24-hour economy and accelerated export development, Augustus Tano, indicated that government is building an integrated poultry value chain.
We are also in discussions with an investor preparing to establish a dedicated day-old chick production facility.
Chief Executive Officer of Beacon Source and Services, Fidelis Pegla, says the cold storage expansion and value addition project showcased a strategic investment
to sustain investment and financing support. This partnership has strengthened Ghana's cold chain infrastructure.
Chief Executive of Beacon Source and Services, Fidelis Pegla. The government is ramping up investments in mini-grid technology to fast-track electricity access in some communities across the country. Now, speaking at a stakeholder forum in Accra, he noted that the 3.5 million people still lack power, and nearly 400 mini-grids will be required to achieve this target by 2030.
Today, over 600 million people in Africa do not have access to electricity, and extending the national grid to cover these people is quite expensive, and that is why this mini grid technology is so crucial, and bringing all the experts to come and deliberate on this matter here in Accra. If we take Ghana, we have an access rate that is 89%. We have about 11% more to go. That's about 3.5 million people who do not have access to electricity. And interestingly, these people reside in areas that the extension of the national grid is quite a challenge economically and technically. That is why we are pushing very hard the mini grid concept to be able to connect all these people. We've done studies that have revealed that we need close to 400 number mini grids to be constructed between now and 2030 to be able to connect everybody in this country.
Engineer Seth Maho is Director of Renewable Energy and Green Transition at the Ministry of Energy and Green Transition. Let's turn attention to the stock market, and more than 10 stocks on the Ghana Stock Exchange witnessed some price changes at the end of trading. If you are an investor of EcoBank, well, you are the biggest gainer on the market today, as each share that you're holding witnessed about 3 Ghana cedis 42 pesos to close at 49 Ghana cedis 32 pesos. And that's all for business on Newsnight. Back to you, Kenneth.
Well, thank you very much, George. It's now time for sports, and Musbao is here with the latest. Musbao, long time no see.
Yeah, Ken. Well, interesting about the Black Starlets. The Black Starlets have been preparing for the Under-17 AFCON. It's coming up later this year in April. And today they had 2 friendly games, one against 2 Division 1 sides, Sympathy and Port City. They managed to win 2 of those games, and as they look to get set for that all-important assignment. The last time the Black Starlets did play in the Under-17 AFCON was way back in 2017, and it's been about almost 3 editions that they've missed out on, and they're looking to return there and hopefully qualify to the World Cup. So we are all rooting for them. Former coach of Kotoko, Prosper Nate Ogum, is the one handling the side, and he's been putting them in shape to ensure they deliver at the tournament. But former captain of the Black Stars under you, he is 36 years of age. You know that, Ken, right?
Is he?
He's 36 years of age. And in the recent time, people have been asking, when is he going to retire? Well, at the moment, he is playing for NAC Breda. It's a team in the Dutch league, and ESPN caught up a team asking him the question everybody has been waiting to hear from him. When is he retiring? Listen to what Andrea you had to say.
Myself every time to have a better tomorrow on the field, off the field. I don't think about that. I think when the moment comes, your body will tell you. That's how I see it, and for now my body is not responding negatively at all, so I need to continue working. The matches will get me fitter, will make me feel better, and that's all I'm thinking about. But no, I never thought about stopping, because the 6 months I didn't play was not football reasons. It was personal reasons that I had to deal with and sort and before, so I could clear my mind and come back and be on top of my game mentally, physically. But I was working, so I'm quite happy, and this is the start of something new, and I hope we end it well.
Yeah, that's Andre Ayew there at the age of 36, and he says, well, he's going to pay attention to his body. When his body, gets tired, and he will stop playing. For now, he will continue to play. Would you want to see Andre Ayew at the World Cup? Ken?
I wouldn't.
Really?
Yes, he's past his prime. I mean,
Ronaldo is still playing.
Ronaldo is Ronaldo. Now. Ronaldo's achievements. You can't.
Ayew is playing. He's playing in the Dutch league.
Ronaldo has scored over 900 career goals.
No, but the point is that Andre Ayew is playing in the Dutch league. He's not playing Dutch league for Nat Breda.
See, Musbah, you cannot compare Andre Ayew to Ronaldo. Even if Ronaldo is 45 and he's fit, he's going to play for his national team. Same for Lionel Messi.
Wow.
Andre Ayew, I'm afraid we can't say the same for him.
But he's playing. He's playing active football.
But he's past his prime. Oh, wasn't Ronaldo just last season the top scorer for the Saudi league? Lionel Messi was also the top scorer for
Saudi Arabia. Andre Ayew is playing in the Dutch league.
We'll have this conversation later. Thank you very much, Musbah, for bringing us the latest in sports. Pearl.
Let's bring you other news. And the Ghana Catholic Bishops' Conference has joined calls for the immediate interdiction of Amansia Central District Chief Executive Emmanuel Obin Ajiman. Well, this follows a Joy News documentary showing assembly officials issuing receipts for Chamfan operations. We'll get the latest from the Catholic Bishops' Conference shortly, but first, here are excerpts of the documentary.
According to the patterns we observed, miners were said to be paying 3,000 Ghana cedis for every Chamfan machine, one leg as it is termed, while others pay 30,000 Ghana cedis and more for every excavator in usage. Our investigation also uncovered receipts and warrant stickers being issued to guarantee uninterrupted illegal operations when payments were made.
Excavator 700 million.
These allegations demanded the deeper inquiry, but our strongest evidence came from a recorded phone call with the district chief executive. In the tape, he confirms that the task force collects monies and that it operates under his instructions.
Assembly may as DC, Mama na Kwenyan and so on Conquoye. On our mining desk officer. It is a Kwenyan, Selosi Yan and Nanya, fine, ye can't want them. And I'm going to say, the Benya already complaints is here. Or started Maui almost 1 month on one leg. Miners are on your many encounter. Ah, my friend, almost 20. One more frame encounter. Obi a wafra mi bia ni ho a mema people ndi afre malam me ka che ne say ene ne nko kasa na yama ne 2 minutes wonje.
And you heard excerpts of our hotline documentary, Attacks for Galamsey. My colleague James Aveji joins us in the studio with the statement from the Catholic Bishops' Conference. James, what are they saying?
Well, the Catholic Bishops' Conference started by applauding the multimedia group, especially the two gentlemen, Nana Boachi, Dankwayadom, and Clinton Yeboah, for bringing these evidence to bear and went ahead to chronicle some of the glaring events in that. They say that they fully back the demands of Joy News in that petition to the president, which called for 4 key things. One, and I'm paraphrasing, a transparent, credible probe into the allegations raised by the concerns in that documentary, a full forensic audit of district assembly revenues and mining-related accounts to ensure public funds weren't stolen. Third, nationwide reform of anti-Galamsey operations, including better whistleblower protection and accountability. But most important one, even before the investigation, an immediate suspension of officials credibly implicated in this expose, especially the DCE, to ensure they cannot interfere with the investigations.
And James Aveji, my colleague, with that statement from the Ghana Catholic Bishops' Conference.
Let's talk some politics this evening, because the opposition MPP is calling for issue-based campaigns and no personal attacks after launching its guidelines for its upcoming internal elections, adopting a bottom-up approach from polling station to the national level. General Secretary of the party, Justin Kodia Frimpong, addressed journalists this afternoon, and my colleague Gemma Pia covered that press conference and is joining me in studio with more. Gemma, the party, we understand, is starting the internal elections with a registration exercise. Give us some details.
Yes, so the registration exercise is for members of the party. The party says that it's going to be done at the polling station level, and so all party members, you have to go to the polling station during their meetings, get registered, and the party is going to monitor it keenly. If you want to vote or be voted for, then you have to be registered. Let's listen to the General Secretary.
For the avoidance of doubt, only members whose details are duly entered into the official membership register at the polling station shall be eligible to vote or to contest in the forthcoming polling station elections. Failure to participate in this 1-month membership registration exercise shall automatically disqualify a member from voting or contesting in the party's internal elections. This registration exercise is mandatory and indispensable to the successful conduct of the party's internal democratic process. So what it means is that even if you have party card, you still have to go to your polling stations to take part in the registration exercise.
And they're starting the elections from the polling station level. What do you need to contest any of the positions?
So for the polling station election, you need 10 cities to file nomination for any position at all. Then after that, the party moves to the electoral area election. For the electoral area election, you will need 500 Ghana cedis. In fact, 50 cities, I should say, 50 cities to contest any position at the electoral area level. And then the constituency level. For the constituency level, to contest for the chairmanship position, you need 1,500 cedis. The first and second vice chair, 1,000 cedis, and other positions, 500 cedis. Then the regional elections as well. For the chairperson, 10,000 cedis. Vice chairman, 8,000 cedis, and any other position is 5,000 cedis. The party says that youth, women, or persons living with disability will have 50% rebate, and you need to have paid your dues. You also need to be a obviously registered member of the party, and you also need to participate in the party activities before you can consider to contest any of this position. For the national chairmanship position, you need 50,000 Ghana cedis, and then 25,000 cedis for the general secretary position. For the national executive elections, the party says, or the general secretary says, that they would issue further directives when the time approaches, and that's somewhere in September.
Thank you very much, Gemma. Now, some youth in Ghana are fleeing their homes, abandoning fishing and farming due to extreme weather conditions like flooding and drought. Many are migrating to other regions or countries for better opportunities, leaving behind a trail of homelessness and disrupted communities. Mohammed Ayaba has more in today's Climate Evidence.
According to a survey conducted by Ghana National Canoe Marine, Shama Apo in 2016 had canoe frame survey of 948 fishermen. The research indicates that within 6 years, Shama Apo has recorded a drop of over 400 fishermen.
Nana Enubaso, the chief fisherman in Shama Apo, explains some impact of the climate change effects on their fishing.
The waves have driven the fishes away, therefore forcing the fishermen to migrate to other places. This situation has occurred at many fishing communities.
We find it very difficult to go to the sea. When the waves become aggressive, we try to bring everything under control.
Shama District NADMO Administrator, Mr. Martin, speaks on the effects of climate change within the coastal area.
But that has already resulted in the migration of some of the fisher folks to other areas. Some people go to Ivory Coast, travel to other countries when the catch is very, very low in our district, and the high temperatures, and some of the trees have been cut.
According to Mr. Martin, despite having inadequate resources to help fishermen in the area, they provide them some interventions.
There's an intervention from government where they are putting up sea defense wall. That will reduce the effect of this climate change on the coastal community.
This story is brought to you by Joy News in partnership with CDK in Ghana, University of Ghana Center for Climate Change and Sustainability Studies, with funding from Claire R4I Opportunities Fund.
Well, that's it for Newsnight tonight. But before we go, here are some of the messages you've been sending to our WhatsApp platform. Sami Boache from Samankesa says whether the petition for the removal of the OSP and EC bosses is thrown out or not, the cocoa farmers still deserve better. Nana Akuyamwa Boatin from Ablekuma Central says, I must commend the Chief Justice for throwing these frivolous petitions against the chairperson of the Electoral Commission and her deputies away. As for Kisie Jabin's removal, the Chief Justice erred. This is because the Chief Justice should have considered the loss this nation has suffered from the OSP's office. And this one from Nana in Spain Tech says, was Charlotte Osei the then EC head removed from office through petitions by the MPP government? I guess we all witnessed a premeditated plan. And the last one from Francis says, why is the CJ and President Mahama being lenient to MPP and people that were diabolic at them in opposition, particularly the current EC leadership? And that's it for Newsnight. My name is Kenneth Gyasi.
My name is Pearl Ofori.
But right after this, though, Strong and Sassy is next.
Yeah, Ken, you owe me. You owe me. We need to have a conversation after this. We do. But anyway, so today on our conversation, we're talking about foreign men, fast lifestyles, false promises, and all of that right here on Strong.